You and I have been in this business for a while, and I think one of the things that we probably both agree upon is that a lot of organizations can hit a point where maybe there's a little bit of testing fatigue. They've had some successes and rolled out some really innovative tests. Perhaps there's been some turnover in the organization for whatever reason. They're at a point where maybe the testing program has slowed down a little bit. I know that Brooks Bell has had a lot of experience in helping companies kind of kickstart or reinvigorate the testing program. Can you talk to some of the ways that you help clients do that and some good suggestions for how to get a program, kind of breathe some new life into the program?
Sure. Every testing program will go through this. They will gain that great success, and then for one reason or another, they'll lose steam. And one of the big problems with organizations that lose steam is if you don't fix that problem quickly, losing steam means losing support. And losing support can mean losing resources, losing budget, and that could actually spell doom for your testing program overall. And so depending on the factors of why you are losing steam, it's really key to keep excitement level up. And that sounds very basic, but it's actually really hard to do because there's one level of excitement in terms of how do you utilize testing as an organization and how do you gain from those learnings. But there's also the level of excitement of the team that's actually executing those tests, and how do they break out of testing just being a task or testing just being their job to testing being a real mission, a real value to the organization. And so we have an example where we worked with a client where they had been testing for many months. They got some wins, they got some losses, but overall they were winning and they were building a team. And then all of a sudden it just felt like they were just going through the motions. And you might think that that's great in terms of optimized process to even call them motions, right? But where it's not great is that if you're not utilizing the excitement of those results, you're not growing as a testing team, and eventually you're going to start testing areas of the site that just you've tested enough of it, it's almost fully optimized, and so you're going to get those less wins. And so what we were able to do is actually build a level of competition back into what is probably the most exciting part of the testing process, which is coming up with the ideas, brainstorming the ideas. And so we created almost like a competition where all the members of the team came into a room. They were given, as a team, they brainstormed many different ideas, but then most importantly, they got poker chips. And those chips they could place onto the variation that they felt would win. So they were actually putting their money where they felt they were going to make the most impact. This worked in a lot of ways. The first thing is that it gave every member of the team ownership in their idea to actually physically put support towards the other. But the most important thing is it developed a real sense of competition. This sense of competition spread well beyond just the team that was in that room. And what helped inspire that, or what continued that trend, is other team members who maybe weren't involved in the testing program to begin with started getting intrigued and started getting excited, and it started to be talked about in the lunchroom, and they wanted to be a part of the process. So now, just by tweaking a little bit of the process and adding a little bit of competition, now it became the meeting to be at. It became the team to be a part of. And now that reinvigorates the process. And so that was just one example of how we were able to kind of turn a testing culture that was starting to just grow a little stale and actually reinvigorate it. And now it stepped up test velocity, it stepped up the importance of testing within the organization.
Certainly, testing is one of these things, like anything else, that if you're not putting energy and effort into it, you're not going to get a lot out of it. And we see this over and over. And certainly there is that inevitable kind of point where we say, are we reaching that point of diminishing returns in terms of what we're testing and where we're testing across our various digital properties? What we often recommend for clients that are experiencing this is to really hold up a mirror and ask themselves some key questions around where they are, how they got to where they are in terms of what they're doing, the number of tests they're running, how often they're seeing the kinds of wins that they're looking for, and so on. And we suggest to them that they use some sort of self-assessment tool. And there are many around. We happen to have one that is an assessment of digital optimization maturity. And it helps you really understand those key questions that are going to, the answers to which will reveal what's holding you back. What's keeping you from getting to the next level? Are they organizational barriers of some sort? Do you not have access to a creative resource that's going to help you accelerate the frequency of tests and do more innovative tests more frequently? And so there's a whole bunch of things, including reach. And by reach, I mean, are you extending your testing efforts out to mobile, email, even social or display ad? So there's a lot of different things that can be looked at, and I do think that one way to sort of begin to reinvigorate your testing is really to look at what you're doing today and what steps need to be taken to mature the program.